What's going on, Woke Nation? Welcome to another video. Advice to my younger self. Advice to my 19, 20-year-old self. Because I truly believe in the only person who you should compare yourself to is your old self. Let's get to it. So the reason why I decided to make this video is like right now I'm in my mid-20s. So really going 5 years back, 6 years back to see how far I've come, and you know, maybe someone could watch this video one day, or you could watch this video and could give you value on, like, you know, some of the tips that I may have been doing, some things that I may have been doing before that maybe you're still doing and I've actually learned from. So we can all learn from each other. The first thing is the 19-year-old me, the 20-year-old me, that guy, man, all that guy cared about is, alright, what Chief Keef song we're gonna listen to today? What Chief Keef song we're gonna wake up to? What designer clothes am I gonna wear today? And which parties are happening this week? That's all he cared about. He has an easy life. He had an easy life. He had a good life. That's all he cared about. He didn't care about doing research on investing. He didn't care about property, none of that. All he cared about was, you know, which shoes. Oh, are my shoes dirty? Oh man, I need to get some new Nike shoes. Designer. Just no worries. That's what he was all about, right? So the first advice I would give to my 19-year-old / 20-year-old self, my younger self, is number one, don't spend your money on dumb shit. Don't spend your money on things that you don't really need. So I'll tell you guys a story. In my first year of university, I moved him into my dorm with a whole lot of strangers that I didn't know at first. And there's this guy called Shay, right? This black dude. And, you know, we started talking, you know, started getting to know each other. And whenever I would go to this guy's room, he would always be listening to, you know, Muhammad Ali's speeches. He's learning, he's investing in stocks. He wakes up every day around 6 a.m. And then I'm like, why are you waking up at 6 a.m.? He's like, why not? I need to read, I need to, you know, get myself ready to start the day. And then I used to think, man, this guy's too serious about life. This guy's too crazy. You know, we get to talking, and he would actually tell me how a few years back, he's couple, I think 2-3 years older than me. So he would tell me a few years back, you know, how, you know, he used to be, you know, just all about girls and clothes and blah blah, stuff like that. I'm like, yo man, that's what I do now. I was like, yeah, that's what I do. And then, you know, he's like, you know, he started showing me his wardrobe. Look, he's like, look, all these clothes like that I used to wear. But he just dressed really simple and humble at the time, right? And then there was this jacket he had. He had a Moncler jacket, right? And when I saw that jacket, I was like, hey, I need that jacket. Moncler is an expensive French brand. So I was like, yo, I need that. So I spent £200. I spent £200 on a Moncler jacket. Okay, right there and then. So back in 2012, that's December 2012, that's when I bought the jacket, right? And then I bought the jacket for £200. And I was sitting a couple days ago and I was doing a calculation. So £200, that would have got me 15 Bitcoins, okay? And if I would have saved those 15 Bitcoins and sold them last year, December, when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, I would have made £300,000. Like that. Easy, right? So, don't spend your money on dumb shit. Don't spend your money on dumb shit you don't need. Especially it was things where I would just buy just to look good and to feel good and to, you know how it goes. You know how the story goes. So, ouch. Lesson learned. I even could have, you know, invested my money on, them crowdfund property projects, put £200 there, maybe get 25% back. But you know what? You only know what you do know. You only know what you know, right? But the funny thing was, back in 2012, I actually knew about Bitcoin, but I was just too ignorant. I didn't care. I was too ignorant to learn more about it. I did not believe in it. I did not see the point. I was just like, yo, I might as well go buy me some Ralph Lauren, because when I stand in the club and stand like this, it's gonna look good. right? So don't spend your money on dumb shit, dummy. The second piece of advice that I have for my younger self is that don't be cheap. Pay your bills. Pay all the debts that you owe, right? So back in 2013, I was just midway point of my first year at university. You know, I came back home and I went to Curry's. Curry's is a shop that sells like all electronics, cameras, rare, loads of different stuff. And I wanted to get myself a camera, like a little camcorder. I actually started my first YouTube channel, So I went there, the guy's like, I went to the guy, yo, so I want to start a YouTube. He's like, yeah, this camera's the best for you. It was about 200, 300 pounds. So I bought the camera, but it was on a finance, right? So I would have to pay in installments every month. And the guy's like, I just need to check your credit if you're eligible. He checked it, I was good to go, I was happy, boom. So now, when I got home, I realized he just gave me like the receipt of the payment and how much I would have to pay every month, right? But he didn't set up a direct debit, right? He didn't set up for the money to come out of my account each month. And then little old cheap me, young old cheap me back then was like, okay, I got one up on him. Like, I don't have to pay these back. So I can just, you know, use this camera for a while and then I can sell it, get another one. Wrong. So I used the camera for about a year or two, then I got rid of it. And something that would have cost me a simple 3 figures, about 300 pounds, right? Now is 4 figures and I'm still paying. Okay? Just something as simple as that. Just pay it. All I had to do was pay my installments, which I could afford, which I could easily afford at the time. Just pay it and get it over and done with. Something like that didn't just cost me more money, but guess what? It's on my credit file and it's made my credit score slump down, right? All these things adds up. All these things add up, right? So that happened. Cool. And then another situation that happened, right? We were moving into university, our second house, right? The second year, so you had to move out of campus now. So then me and my friends, we were just, you know, my housemates, you know, I knew them from the first year. So we were just talking about, like, there was this one room in the house that was literally built like a box, right? There was only a bed, and then you had I had my stereo where I could put it, and, you know, whatever, my desk, yeah? So no one wanted the room, obviously. No one wanted the room. I didn't want the room, right? So, but at the time, you know, we had a meeting in KSC about, you know, the room. I said, look, obviously, whoever's going to take the room is going to pay less rent. We were like, right. And so I said, I might be interested. And then all of them were like, what? You might be interested? All right, cool. So what we got to do for you to take it? So I said, at the end of every 3 months, when you guys get your loan paid, each and every one of you is going to give me some cut of your money because this room is too small. And they agreed. So I was like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I got it. Like, this is a good deal. Not only am I gonna be paying less rent, but they're actually gonna pay me, so I can just spend that money on all my necessities, and I can save my student loan for something that's more important, clothes or something, right? At the time. So then, you know, everything was going good, cool. And then around 3-4 months in, I started waking up. And when I wake up on my bed, like, I would see little spots of blood, right? And I'm thinking, hold on, this is not right. Why is there blood on my duvet and my pillow? So I didn't think much of it the first couple times. Like, I just thought, oh, maybe it's just something, like I'm just bleeding. Maybe I hurt myself the night before and I'm just bleeding and I don't really know much about it. And then it hit me. This is when life punched me in the face, right? So my girlfriend, she at the time, she wasn't at the university. She came from London to come and visit me, right? So when I got something to eat, went back to the house, was chilling, and then she just got up. She's like, so I feel like something's biting me. I'm like, what? You're crazy. You just imagining stuff. Just sit back down, like, it's alright. And then cool. After she went away that night, I woke up the following morning with loads of bites on my skin. And I'm like, no, this can't be right. So I lifted up my mattress and there was literally thousands of villages of bed bugs. And I was like, no way, right? So I held a house meeting, so I had to sleep at one of my roommates' room for a while I told the landlord, listen, we need to, you know, organize the pest control thing. And then the pest control, they came to my house, they had to spray the whole house, I had to throw the mattress away, and guess what? That cost me time, that cost me inconvenience, and that cost me some time on studying and actually getting my work done. Because what? Because I was being cheap, right? So yes, you may think that you have the better deal. Just like if you go and buy something that's lesser quality because it's less money, you may think you're getting the best deal at the time, but in the long run, you're gonna lose 9 times out of 10. So just pay your bills, go for the best option because it's gonna last you longer and you're gonna be more convenient. And now the final piece of advice I have is, and this is for everyone, whether you're in school, whether you're in university, whether you're in college, or whether you're just at home or you're just working a 9 to 5. Don't stress about the future. When I was in uni, we used to stress so much. When we have an exam coming up, we're like, man, if we fail this exam, you know how our lives are over, right? We can't get that job, we can't get that office job and look all good with our ties, and you know, we're just gonna end up working at McDonald's or something. So we used to worry a lot. We used to spend a lot of time worrying. We probably cared less than the average university student, to be honest, because we, you know, we'd go out during exam weeks or whatnot, but we still worry, right? We still worry about our future, like, what are we gonna do after university? What are we gonna do after university? Like, and we're gonna get a job. If we're not gonna get that job, then our life is over. Like, what's the point? We took all this loan and all these 3 years, and you know, we ain't got nothing to show for it. So we used to worry a lot, and once the thing about worry is that it's self-created. So when you keep worrying, you're just less effective. So I realized the more we worried, the more we actually messed up in our exams, and the more we just didn't become more efficient in university in terms of our work and learning what we should learn, right? So really, don't worry, because when I was leaving university, actually the last month that I was doing my final year project, I realized, wow, like I was so at peace. I've never been at peace because I know what I wanted to do, and I know it was not my degree. It was not. It had nothing to do with computers, right? It had nothing to do with sitting in an office and programming. It had nothing to do with setting up databases. It had nothing to do with networking, creating websites. It had nothing to do with that. I knew that, look, I don't want to do this, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted to create a life for myself. I wanted to be the captain of my ship, right? So once I left, I got into property, which didn't go so well for me, right? But what I learned, I have knowledge of till this day, and I can still use it, and I am using it, right? And then I got a job where I worked in a school with kids with autism, and that was more fulfilling for me. I just knew I wanted to give back to society somehow, like rather than sitting on the computer all day and going home feeling more stressed than you started the day. I would go home and be like, bro, I made that kid's life better today. So that was much bigger for me. And now I never would have thought that I would have a YouTube channel and I would be creating content, not just YouTube, but all over the web, all over social media. I'll be creating content and doing what I love. So don't worry. You know that song, don't worry. You know, because everything's going to be fine. Really, everything is going to be fine. As long as you learn from your mistakes and you keep pushing and you know, tweak certain things that needs to be tweaking. Like right now, I don't really go out and go spend a lot of money on certain things that I don't need. No, it's more calculated because I learned. It's called growing up. Obviously, when it comes to this topic, like, you know, we all make mistakes, and even though I'm giving advice to my younger self and I'm calculating how much money I could have made, woulda, shoulda, coulda, you know, I wouldn't change it for anything, because if I didn't go through that experience, if I did not go through that moment, then I wouldn't really, you know, be who I am today. So all of those moments counted to who I am today, and they made me who I am because I've learned from them, because they burnt me. Those moments burnt me. So now I know, you know, in the future and now what to do, and I've got better information about the world and life. So just continue learning and don't stress. Remember, don't stress, because every little thing is gonna be alright. Yeah, Woke Nation, thank you guys for watching. Love.